Andy Roddick, congratulations. Thank you for being with us on USTA.com. Tell me how you feel, and what did you actually feel when you were told you were going to be inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame?
A bit of disbelief. Obviously, it's pretty humbling. I mean, I was a tennis fan way before I played any tennis of record. So to kind of think you start getting real serious about who paved the way and thinking about the history of the game and matches you watched as a kid. Then you kind of play it forward to the matches you actually played in. I think it means a lot because it's voted on by other Hall of Famers, other media people you've had interactions with over the years. So it meant a lot to me. I'm not one of the guys who was a shoo-in by any means. So I was nervous, I was hopeful, and honored.
Where would you place something like this, an honor like this, in a pretty special career when you think back on it?
Oh man, it's I got to be honest. It's the resting place you want at the end of a tennis career. I was lucky because Todd Martin, who's now the president of the Hall of Fame, walked me through the museum last year for the first time. I had never been to Newport before. And that was eye-opening, and you kind of start remembering where you were and how old you were when you bought a pair of Andre's shoes, or you had a hat that looked like Pete's, or you remember where you were the first time you saw Guga's crazy, Diadora's shoes, or whatever it was. And then after we kind of took that walk and it was private, there was no one in there, it was just amazing. Todd pulled me into his office and told me that I was going to be nominated, and that was I had goosebumps just thinking about it. I thought it might be a possibility someday. I didn't know it was going to be this year, but I'm happy about it. Obviously for selfish reasons, but also going in with Kim, who has been a friend of mine since we were 12 years old, and she was the same happy person at 12 that she is now, and she's almost a master of balance, literally and figuratively, as far as the way she's handled her life and her career, and I'm happy to be sharing it with her.
Isn't it just such a special place? You say you went through it for the first time, and it's so beautifully laid out. Those grass courts around the casino and all that. It's pretty special, isn't it?
It catches your breath.
Yeah.
When you walk in the front gates and you can see it right on the entrance right there on the street. You walk into a little courtyard area where the old court was, and the mingling areas, and it's one of those places that takes your breath away. And I certainly don't have a history there. I didn't play the tournament, but as soon as you walk in, you feel like you're home. You feel like you're part of a family, and it was great. And I look forward to spending more time there.
How often do you reflect back on your career?
I don't think about I don't think about my career that often. It's so funny now because I feel so far removed from tennis on a day-to-day basis. I don't go to that many tournaments. I don't find a reason to be around it too much. I'm completely at peace with it. I love it. I respect it. It'll always be a part of my life. But it is great coming back and kind of seeing your old family in the tennis community, and when it reaches out and gives you a big hug, it still feels really good.
Andy, there were so many highs in your career. The year-end #1 ranking, the US Open, Davis Cup, those phenomenal Wimbledon finals. If I asked you to put in order, maybe to the top 3, how difficult would that be, and could you do that?
I probably couldn't. They're special for different reasons. I was really young and kind of naive when I won the US Open. In '06, when I made the final after I had a rough year and some people left me for that, that was gratifying in its own way. To win the Davis Cup with your teammates, and something that we felt we had to win. And it was a slow march. It took us 5 or 6 years when we had a really good team, so to finally get it was great. The Wimbledon Final is obviously the thing that I still get asked about the most, and I feel thankful to have been a part of it. And, it was the only match that I ever had that was kind of water fountain conversation back home for a long time. And people viewed me differently a little bit after that match. So I'm thankful for all the opportunities. I'm thankful for the memories, and I've never even in my own mind tried to place them in order. So it'd be tough for me to do it publicly.
The US Open Championship, finishing that final with 3 back-to-back aces. Can you remember those serves?
I was cutting him wide to the forehand a couple times because he was taking big cuts at the forehand return, which just tells you that I didn't want to get into a rally with him. So he was either going to hit a winner or I was going to win the point. So I didn't want to have to grind through the nervy baseline rallies. But it's probably the best service game I ever played, considering the circumstances. And he double faulted, and I'm glad I didn't have a switch over to think about it. I'm glad we just got right into that game. I think that was a huge advantage and something that probably doesn't get talked about enough. I think there's a big difference between serving something out when you get straight into it and serving it out when you have to sit and think about it over a switch over, and I was lucky.
Where's the trophy? Where do you have that US Open trophy?
I have about 4 trophies only from my career, but that one is it's in the living room tucked behind some stuff.
Finally, Andy, your peers have congratulated you on Twitter, people like Roger Federer, and as you just alluded, Kimmy Clijsters to be inducted with you. Tell me how special all that is.
I think we live in an age where fame is one thing, infamy is prevalent. I think generally people shoot for that as opposed to respect. The respect feels better. To have Roger reach out, someone who I admired, who was tough on me for a long time, but we never lost personal respect. I respect everything he's done. I would begrudge him more of his success and be jealous of it if he wasn't such a good human. So when your peers reach out and show you that respect, that feels the best.
Andy, congratulations again. I know you get emotional at you have been emotional at tournaments in the past. Do you think there'll be a bit of a tear at that induction ceremony?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be tough not to, and I think the reason being is that it takes a village to get you there. So I think when I think back to the people who helped me get there, I feel like we all got into the Hall of Fame. My entire team and the people that kind of helped me along the way. And I've only recently understood how hard it is to leave family, and they had young kids at home, and to travel the world, and not even for themselves, but to support someone else. So it means even that much more. So it'd probably be tough not to.
It's great to see you, Andy.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you.